Welcome to ACE256, Problems and Principles of Athletic Coaching. There are a few things that you need to know before you get too far into the course. First, this is designed for youth sport, kids under the age of 18. We are focusing on athlete development, not training professional athletes. So it's important to contextualize all conversations that we have with the correct athlete development pathway in mind. If you derive all of your arguments and concepts around collegiate or professional coaches, we'll be communicating from different planets. Clearly, there is a difference between coaching high-performance athletes and coaching youth development athletes, and yes, this means high school. Second, although I expect you to utilize your specific sport experiences in your assignments and discussions, this course is meant to transfer skills and knowledge across all sports domains. Therefore, the coaching concepts are general. It is up to you to imagine or ask how you might apply learned knowledge to your particular coaching context. Third, the course moves pretty fast. You'll have multiple tasks due each week. It's possible to work ahead to a certain degree, but the majority of work is meant to be completed week to week. And finally, you must do the required readings in order to pass the course. Your weekly quizzes will have material from the readings, lectures, and NFHS modules. It is tempting to skip ahead with NFHS. I highly discourage that, as you could miss valuable information. Also, the quizzes are timed. Time is based on the number of questions. So although in theory the quiz is open note and open book, it would be difficult to complete the quiz if you have to look up each answer. If you are taking this course, you might have a pretty good idea what coaching is all about. This most likely comes from your experiences as a youth athlete. Young coaches often perform like their favorite youth coach. They draw from their informal learning experiences like observation of youth coaches or coaching idols. This is a socialized learning concept that can be very valuable. The problem is when we mimic poor coaches, and sometimes we don't really know how to differentiate good coaches from poor coaches, especially if the coach happens to have a good winning percentage. Sometime this week, read the Sage 1989 article and see how high school football coaches. Make sure you go to the discussion post this week and respond to the thread. Please describe how you got started in sports and where you see your future in sports. Be mindful of your grammar. From this point on, you'll be accountable for your professionalism. That means that all communication must be formal, with appropriate grammar and spelling, and always polite, even if you are irritated with me. Also answer the questions, do you love participating, performing, or watching sports? Are you a fan of sports, or do you want to be a coach? And as I already said, keep all communication professional. The American mentality surrounding coach development often submits the idea that if you played a sport, then you can coach it. Coaching research has thoroughly debunked that myth. Coaching requires a different set of skills than being an athlete. Recently, during the 2018 NBA Finals, the media asked Coach Steve Kerr what the difference was between being a coach and a player. He truthfully said, "Players get to take naps." In other words, the weight of performance, players' attitudes, team cohesion, the players' pre, during, and post-game care, amongst other things, are entirely the burden of the coach. Some new coaches, without having proper preparation, can quickly become overwhelmed with the amount of moving parts, levels of responsibility, and expectations to win. It's not for everybody, but it is an outstanding profession. Why do you think parents push their kids to play sports? Well, there are certainly a variety of reasons. It might be for socialization, maybe as a means to stay healthy or avoid getting obese. Maybe the parents like to live vicariously through their children, or maybe to gain the skills to college scholarship. That's a real popular one. But why do children play sports? Children play sports to play with their friends and have fun, and that's it. Kids want to play games. That's what children do. And that'll be a real focus of this class, is to really put in perspective the differences of the players in sport. Not just players as those who are participating, but players in general, like parents are part of the parents all play a role. The coaches play a role. the children play a role, and everyone has an impact into the child's experience. Here's some facts about youth sport life. Do you remember a time where you thought everyone played some type of sport? In 2007, there were 57.3 million youth sport participants. 7.3 million were high school students. By the time they reach adulthood, the sport participation and physical activity rates decline heavily. Look at the chart from Wallerson 2014. This chart shows that around 19% of our youth population from ages 6 to 18 had no physical activity in a 12-month period. What's going on? There are many potential reasons for the decline of sport participation. Rising cost of participation, decline in recreational sports leagues, too much pressure to perform, cuts in physical education programs, increase in video gaming and social media. Some kids don't think sports fun anymore, and some kids get overworked. Poor coaching causes kids to quit, and oftentimes coaches are treating children like mini professionals, kind of giving them the out because it's not fun anymore. Many parents have hopes and dreams that their sons or daughters will get a college scholarship, alleviating much of their financial responsibility to pay for the rising costs of higher education. The numbers in this chart depict percentages of kids that actually play beyond in the NCAA and further, at least select few sports. Give this chart a quick glance. Some of you maybe have played college athletics, but there's a very small percentage of those kids that go beyond high school athletics. So the idea of getting a college scholarship is a difficult one to think about, because although every parent thinks their child is number one and deserves a college scholarship, so few really see that as a reality. So putting sports back into perspective about what the real purpose is a big part of what we're trying to accomplish in this class. Sport participation should go beyond the potential for a college scholarship, as there are plenty of benefits. Sports can increase the daily activity of anybody. It increases the psychosocial development and overall health benefits. Sport participation is associated with improved GPA, decreased high school dropout rates, and increased educational expectations. And female athletes show improved levels of self-esteem and self-confidence when they play sports. During your time as a youth athlete, you may have been exposed to the politics of American youth sports. Not only are the politics killing sport participation, they are killing true athletic development. The current U.S. model produces coaches that cherry-pick talent to create super teams instead of developing all athletes. Oftentimes, an 8 or 9-year-old kid will be labeled as elite or poor when they haven't even begun to reach their athletic maturity. Second, overzealous parent culture is teaching kids how to not play well with others, allowing competition and power politics to ruin proper sportsmanship. Also, the U.S. system uses the professional leagues, NFL, NBA, MLS, NHL, and Major League Baseball to teach parents how their children should be trained. Of course, this is ridiculous to expect children to perform in the same manner as grown adults just because they use similar training tactics. And finally, we have created such a culture of competition that we play 3 times as much as we train. So our children are underdeveloped by the time they reach the college ranks. If we have a decline in sports participation, a decline in motor skill development, failure to retain talent, coaches who train kids like they are adults, utilizing power politics and head games, no more fun, it's no wonder that kids don't want to play sports. Unfortunately, much of the damage is caused by coaches. We're going to really talk a lot about this and the role of the coach next time, because it's so important that we as coaches learn what proper athlete development is and how to really put sports in perspective. We need to start to combat the negatives in the coaching world. And that's the exciting part about you as a future coach, is that you can be a difference maker.